alive. Let's see. Hang tight. Here we go. See his request.
Boom. Hold on.
Hey, Pete.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, I can hear you too. What's up, Jules?
What's going on? Thanks for doing this.
Dude, thank you too.
It's going to be fun. I got a bunch of questions, and we're just going to scroll through and answer them.
Do it.
Um,
Are they all about my skincare routine? Because I'm ready to answer those questions.
they're mostly about Lil Dude. And the first question is, did you get coffee this morning?
That happened this morning. I had to make myself a new cup, but he was just being super sweet and wanted to be up on my lap, and he was just like, nope.
Fucking
That sound in the video is the real sound too.
thug. He said
that wasn't a sound that we found on YouTube and like ripped to put into the video at all. It was real.
We've been appreciating your voiceovers on old YouTube vids or horror vids. They've been really good.
Thanks.
All right, well, let's kick this off. Brody Maker wants to know what song from Morningview is the most challenging to sing/play live?
That's a really good question. I just talked to my friend Steve Balton about this in a little interview I did with him this week. I think probably one of the more challenging songs is a track called Blood on the Ground. And it's not impossible. It's just, it's kind of right at the top of my range for most of the song. So the way that like I've learned to write songs over the years is like you have moments that can blast out at the top of your range and push it really hard, and then you give yourself moments where you can breathe, and then it creates like this economy of space within the song that ends up being good for a listener and all these things. When I was 25 and we were, writing the records from Morningview all the way back to the very first songs we ever wrote, we were still just like, all of it right now in one spot, full.
Young testosterone, full at all times.
Testicles filled with song ideas, just waiting to get out.
What high school quote? Surfer's blood pumps aggression through its veins. That's your quote, right?
It was, and I was trying to be kind of ironic, but it came across as just jockey. It's fine, whatever.
So good. Every time I paddle out, that's my mantra. Okay. Minia Karina, and I apologize if I'm torching usernames, wants to know, did you get a tattoo after any song from Morningview? I'm assuming she means about Morningview or in relation to Morningview, because we know.
No, I think that period of time was pretty tattoo free.
Okay.
I think I got this was once a red tattoo of this mantra right here sometime right before we started Morningview, if I'm not mistaken, because I remember getting it. I still lived in West Hollywood when I got this tattoo, and I moved out of my West Hollywood apartment into the Morningview house. And so right before I left that apartment, I got this tattoo in my neighbor's kitchen, which was fun. It's fun getting tattoos in a kitchen right next to your house.
Yeah, kitchen tattoos are good.
Right.
I'm messing up here because I can't read the comments on my computer. Just a few more, so I'm going to be taking them from the chat, and so I say that meaning drop your comments in the chat. But one question here from Anthony Halley is are you in about cannabis?
That's a fair question, I suppose. It is. Okay, let me just say it like this. If what was the question?
Anthony,
if that song is about cannabis for you, then that song's about cannabis. I learned a long time ago that there's what I was intending consciously when writing lyrics and melodies and stuff. There's an unconscious realm to that as well, which reveals itself later. But when I was writing the lyric to that song, I wasn't thinking about cannabis. I was thinking about moments in time in our band family when we were all in the same room together. And in this instance, it was in that living room at the Morningview house when everything just kind of congealed perfectly in a moment. That song was written in a matter of hours. Like Dirk Lance started playing that bass line, and he was super present that day with us. And Jose started playing the drum beat as it exists right now. Michael just started playing those harmonic things, and I was sitting there grooving with the guys while they're playing this riff, and I just sang kind of the first thing that came out of my mouth, and it was like the lyrics to that song. So the song is almost about the song. The song is about moments when everything creatively just congeals and there's no effort, and it's just full-on rad synergy amongst friends, you know?
It's easier when everybody's in. It's the truth.
Yeah.
That simple.
Yeah.
All right. Precursor wants to know, what is your favorite country to play in? That's a tough question. You're going to piss off every other country, so. You don't have to answer.
I was going to say.
But there was a slash to this. What's your favorite venue to play in?
Ah, that's a good one. You know, I will say I'm not going to try and like play favorites or anything. There are parts of the world that are more exciting to play concerts in than others. We love touring in America. We can only tour in America right now until we can, you know, tour overseas again, which we're very much looking forward to. But touring in America is super fun. But some of the craziest concerts, some of the most memorable concerts have been in South and Central America. So places like Chile and Argentina, places in Mexico, Brazil. We've had some of the wildest shows we've ever had. But then there are places in Europe and UK where we've had just incredible concerts. I love, and I can actually speak for most of the guys in the band when I say that we really love touring through Europe and UK in the summer. It's like one of the most enjoyable ways to tour because, you know, you're in a tour bus and the tour buses have like picture windows and areas where we can all sit together and look at the countryside. And if we have a day off, it's usually in a place that's really old and really interesting, and we can go and appreciate the architecture and go to rad museums and stuff. So I do enjoy touring the world. It's fun to be on world tour.
So everywhere is the best. There's your answer. She's right. Now they can sleep tonight.
Right.
But Bonnie Rogue wants to know, is there a specific song that's most nostalgic for you from the album?
Most nostalgic. I think that one of the songs that brings me the most kind of like squarely back into that living room energetically is probably Wish You Were Here. Wish You Were Here or Aqueous Transmission. Those two tracks to me very much like embody the record. They also embody kind of the dichotomy of the record. The record has these moments of like heavy guitar with like, you know, big melodic moments, but then there's their antithesis to that, which is aqueous, you know, which kind of is almost like trying to lull you to sleep. And that was very much our experience there. It was one part tranquil and it was one part full on like early 20s rock and roll party in an empty house.
You guys were living in that house while recording or commuting?
We moved into that house. We basically when we moved our gear into there, it was just a big empty mansion. It was a place that had been on the market and then taken off the market. And it had that beautiful, amazing cathedral living room where we're doing the performance tomorrow for the live broadcast. And we knew we were going to set up and record in there, but there were enough bedrooms for everyone, but some of the bedrooms were like nicer than the other ones. And I've talked about this before. We drew straws randomly for who got what bedroom. And I'll give you one guess what bedroom I got.
The master bedroom or the largest bedroom.
Master bedroom.
Yeah.
I got the lead singer bedroom by chance. It was as if the universe
by
wanted
destiny
to be in a king bed in the master bedroom.
Who got the smallest bedroom?
Ooh, I don't remember. I was too busy doing laps around my master bed. The rest of it.
Just jumping on the bed, pointing at all the other band members that are in the closet rooms.
Fuck you guys, I got the master bedroom.
Sam Yuri wants to know, did you guys feel a lot of pressure making an album following the success of Make Yourself?
That's a really good question. I can only speak for myself. I personally was too distracted by how exciting it was to be writing and recording a record in such a novel environment. And I was really, really present in that place. I was too present to have anxieties about what was going to be successful after our successes with Make Yourself, which were such a blessing. It was a weird blessing to come off of the success of Make Yourself, and then our track Drive hit the radio waves and the TV airwaves as we were writing Morningview. So I think one of the reasons why Morningview did really well, not only because it's a pretty cool record that we wrote together, but it also had this momentum coming out of Make Yourself straight into Morningview. So it was like there wasn't a lot of downtime for people to forget about us, you know.
Momentum, it's key.
Right?
Let me scroll. I'm scrolling here for a question, but while I do that, I will remind the chat that tomorrow there is live streams available. You can get tickets at incubus.veeps.com. It's going to be awesome. It's a pre-recorded performance. The magic is there. It's so beautiful. Can you talk about that a little bit, B? Will I go scrub and find some good questions?
Yeah. So we recorded, we just basically set back up in the living room of that house where we wrote and recorded Morningview. And we performed the record live from front to back. And so there is now like a visual archive of that album as it exists in 2021, which is really interesting, you know. And I have to say, weirdly, it still kind of holds up. You know? There didn't really feel to me to be any moments where it was like, oh God, I got to sing these stupid lyrics right now. And I'm not feeling that anymore. It was the opposite. It felt very relevant, to me at least. And if it felt stupid or irrelevant to the other guys in the band, you can't tell.
Yeah, that's good. Sorry, I'm getting pinged on chat. I'm so ill prepared for this. Question from Seb the Great is, do you remember what you were reading or listening to when writing Morningview?
Yes. Mojo Jojo just gave me so many hearty faces that I had to say something.
You're seeing the recent comments. I'm still scrubbing at the top. But so if you see something in the chat and it calls to you, please,
Cool.
Talk direct.
All good. I was listening to a lot of Bjork during this period of time, and I was borderline obsessing on a couple of PJ Harvey records. One in particular that had come out right around the time we were writing Morningview was the PJ Harvey record, Stories from the City, Stories from the Sea. And it's a fantastic record. It's very understated, as much of her music kind of is, but in the best way. And what I was obsessing on with her in particular around that period of time was the relative kind of simplicity of her approach and her aesthetic approach. And I found it really admirable and really inspiring. So I was really just digging into her lyrics and yeah. God, what was I reading? That I don't remember. I don't remember what books I had with me at the place, but I was definitely listening to a lot of Bjork and PJ Harvey and probably Jeff Buckley. And it was definitely a shift in my my listening habits from the end of Make Yourself all through that period of time. I was more interested in like the artists who were employing an economy of space around that period of time than I was like the sort of cantankerous, busy artists that I grew up loving. Still love them, but it was a different period of time for me.
Refining taste, changing taste. You had also traveled and seen stuff. And Robexar, it's just a shout out to the photographer who documented that point in time. Who was that? And can you speak on some of these great clips we've been posting on socials? Who's taken those?
So you'll notice that in a lot of the video stuff that you've been posting on the Incubus socials, I am curiously not present in them, but you'll hear my voice. It's because I was the guy with the video camera most of the time. And I was happily the guy with the video camera because it felt like something special was going on. And a friend of ours named Brett Spivey was also filming stuff, but he was doing more like covert filming things, like with tiny cameras he was putting around the house. And he captured like probably hundreds of hours of footage that at some point I hope sees the light of day, little bits of which we've seen the light of day. But most of the handheld stuff was me. But then the still imagery was coming from Brian Bowen Smith. He did the album cover. He did the photography on the inside of the record of us sort of candidly around the house. He was just in and out of the house with us. He almost lived there with us during that period of time as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mojo Jojo is now in tears because you shouted her out. So at some point before we get off here, we'll just do a big old shout out. But first, let's get some more questions in the chat. And from Head Rocker 1, will you guys be playing any other songs from different records tomorrow?
No, tomorrow is just Morningview. It's like Morningview from front to back.
How sick is that?
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. It's going to be super fun.
That's so awesome. Let me see. Let me find some more good questions here. There's so much going on. This is a question. I'm gonna throw. No. Do you see any good questions in your version of the chat? I'm way back here. I'm putting you on blast. Sorry, B.
Ariana's HK says, "Aha."
That's.
Jose Pablo Badia says, "Fuck yeah," in all capitals, and I agree.
I love the shout outs. It's so good. Did you do any of the album artwork? I saw that question, but I can't see who asked it.
Yeah. I did the album layout with Brian Bowen Smith, as I usually do, and Jose and I do a bunch of the, if not all of the album layouts together, but I love like arranging photos in a period of time, and then I'll like scribble around them, and kind of Brian Bowen Smith and I have been collaborating for many, many, many years.
You guys want to do a little drop here on a collaboration that you're in the works with?
Yeah.
Talk about Moonlight.
Yes, so, some people are aware of it. I have this new project that I've been working on called Moonlight Arts Collective. We have an Instagram page if you guys want to follow us, but we are building a platform that's going to be doing fine art print releases with other folks in the art world like myself. So people that you might know from film or television or music or sports, or, you know, people that you kind of recognize for one thing who also happen to be talented visual artists. We're going to be doing fine art print releases with them, hand signed, numbered, sort of the way that I've been doing it for the last 12 years or so. But Brian Bowen Smith is going to be one of our first releases. He and I did a collaborative piece. Brian did a series of beautiful black and white photographs of my girlfriend Sarah dancing, and then I painted on top of the photographs. So it's a set of 4. Those will be coming out early next year. But we're working with some amazing people. Yeah.
Those pieces are super special.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks, Jules.
Of those.
And Mary Cott says Heart Evangelista. And that's another one of the collaborations that we're doing. Heart Evangelista from the Philippines. She's a really, really talented painter. So we have some cool stuff we're going to be doing with her as well.
I got a question from Alex23X. Who is the Mustache Man?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The Mustache Man? Isn't there like a good image of a mustache man in some of? Did I not have a mustache? Am I messing that up? All right, good. We don't know, Alex. We don't know who the Mustache Man is. Everyone's shaved. All right, my bad. I'm not a good moderator, Brandon. I'm totally.
You're doing great.
Let's see. Question that I saw: are you still surfing?
I am still surfing, and Jules, I'm sorry I haven't paddled out with you recently. I have been busily doing preparation stuff for a solo record that I have coming out. So I'm ready to paddle out with you probably this weekend or early next week.
I'm so ready for Ascend.
Yeah, I got a new wetsuit coming too, so I know I'm gonna surf better because of my new wetsuit.
Yeah, faster, you know, makes you swim good.
Totally more aerodynamic.
I'm seeing lots of Chuck shout outs in the chat. That's what I'm seeing. Chuck. Let's see.
Somebody
All right.
here says, I'm not even going to say it. Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
You go.
Somebody lost their virginity to our music.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of that. Any that wasn't the intention though. It's up to, I guess it's the viewers, the listeners' choice if they want to get down to.
Right.
All right. Thaddeus Jennings has a question about your solo record. If you could describe the tone of your solo album, what would it be?
It is dark and horny.
More virginity losing to be had. Okay. Tobias RX wants to know, this is a super relevant question. Have you ever played disco golf?
No, and I don't know what that is, but it sounds awesome.
I don't think it has anything to do with like actually disco music. I think it's like throwing a frisbee into buckets. Let's get some Morningview questions in the chat. I will drop another reminder that the performance stream is tomorrow. There's going to be exclusive merch available as well. It is a magical thing. The second you walked into the house, you could feel the magic, and I think it translates. And
thanks, man.
Yeah, it's really cool. Did you Megan E. Hendricks wants to know, did you have any rituals you did before writing any music during Morningview?
Rituals, other than the like goat sacrifices and things like that we normally do before we start writing music? No, nothing out of the ordinary.
Just goat sacrifices.
Yeah, maybe like a nice unmolested cup of coffee before we go in.
Bugging. So fuck you, coffee.
Right.
You know anything you don't want to mess with this morning cup of coffee. Very capable human after coffee.
After coffee. Yes.
Infinitely Interesting wants to know, if you could wake up with any superpower, what would it be?
That's so weird that she's asking this question, because I was just having this conversation an hour ago. To me, I mean, I have lots of like hoped for superpowers. Like, I'll tell you another one, but I have two. The main one is I would speak every language known to man in the history of Earth, every one of them.
That'd be a good one. Yeah, I mean, you'd be communicating with, ghosts. If you think about that, you could go far with that one, speaking all the Earth's languages, all the planet's languages.
Right, but of like time immemorial. Drop of a hat, you'd be super cool.
Nobody wants to know mine, but I have one. When I reached into my pocket, I pulled out exactly what I needed. That would be my superpower.
That's like a Mary Poppins thing out of her bag.
Yes, just here you go. Everything.
That's a really good one. One of my old superpowers that I always wanted was anytime I farted, anyone like in a 10-foot radius, I would have an orgasm.
Oh my God. That would be a very wonderful tour bus.
I keep dragging this towards like the realm of inappropriateness. Sorry, Jules.
Okay. It's all right. Let's see here. What did you guys have for breakfast in the Morningview house? That's coming from, I lost you, Svelardo 05.
What did we have for breakfast? This was 20 years ago, so I'm just going to go ahead and say I actually don't remember.
Burritos? I feel like the answer to what you used to eat was always burritos, but
there were a lot of burritos in our band time.
Yeah.
Burritos, I think, actually get like credits on certain early records.
Yeah, burritos actually have writing credits.
Yeah.
All right, Feds are. We're gonna take a couple more. We're gonna do a roll call, shout out, and then we're gonna sign it off because there's more to come, and we want to see you tomorrow. But Feds Art wants to know: is there gonna be any jam sessions in between songs or any remixes like the live shows tomorrow?
That's a really great question. So one of the cool things about what we've done with Morningview, I really think that it holds true to the sonic aesthetic of the songs. And some of them are played verbatim, but there's quite a lot of stuff that we're doing to these songs now where we kind of like have like remixed little parts. But we didn't take them so far off into like mindless self-indulgence that I think people are going to be bummed. There's just moments that we rehearsed for like a month coming up to this thing, and we really felt like there were a couple of moments that we could just improve upon, sort of like we do live. Sometimes we play the songs live and they're just like they are on the record, or as close as we can approximate. And then sometimes we take the opportunity to nudge some things, you know, do a little key change, a little modulation, change the tempo a little bit. There are moments like that, and it'll be fun, I think, for our listeners, especially like some of you guys who know the record so well, to be like, yeah, this is it. Whoa, what's happening right now? You know, I get kind of thrown for a loop a little bit, and then, you know, hopefully.
Well, I'm gonna follow up. If you're in the stream now and you watch it, we'll ask some questions on socials, and I want to know if you can spot those differences. Cat Rose 629 says, Brandon, what advice would you give the world, the whole world? I love that the world is here. You made it, to improve their songwriting ability.
Okay, so what advice would I give to the world? What?
To improve their songwriting ability. I think the ask is like to improve this person's songwriting ability.
That's a good question. To me, it's almost a two-parter. What advice would I give to the world is a whole other question.
Interpret it two ways. Let's go with that. What advice would you give to the world?
Wow, that's a big one. I would say, world, if you're listening, be mindful of who's influencing you. So we all make sense of the world in different ways, but there are forces at hand who are trying to pull you in one direction or the other. And each and every one of you has an inner voice and an inner compass. And I think that needs to be trusted, especially right now, with a little bit more respect. Definitely give your inner voice some skepticism and some credulity. But if your inner voice is saying, now I'm speaking metaphorically, by the way, if your inner voice is saying, maybe I should sing this chorus one step down, because maybe I'll have to sing this song in 20 years for everybody. Do it. Or just go full bore, nuts on the table, sing it as high as you can, and hope what's going to happen in 20 years. I don't know.
Hope that you get to sing it 20 years later.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, Olivia Shorthair wants to know, what was one of the funniest things that happened as you guys were writing Morningview in that house?
One of the funniest things that happened. Whoa, I don't know. I remember we had a couple of parties while we were recording there. And I remember at one of them, my older brother came, and there was a long staircase right when you walked into the house, into like the foyer of the house. And there was a long staircase that kind of sloped down towards the living room. And it had this, what do you call it, like a banister? The thing that you hold on to? It had a scooped handrail banister that came down, and my older brother attempted to butt slide down it. And instead of coming down it, he fell over backwards. And it was like a full story up.
Yeah.
Fell down, and I watched it in slow motion. I was like, no. And he just happened to land right on a bunch of mattresses that we were using to build soundproofing things. That ended up being funny. It could have been tragic, but it ended up being really funny.
Even if it wasn't mattresses, as long as he was okay, you can't help but laughing at a spill. No.
Right.
Funny.
Everybody likes to fall down. I don't know what it's.
Yeah. Ask for it. Doing a butt slide. That's a curvy banister.
Right.
Vanessa Vunicki wants to know about your skin routine.
My skin routine. I was kidding about that, but I suppose I just wash it with some soap every couple of days.
Pimple popping. Just some soap, face.
No, I usually leave it alone. I give myself a shave every few days these days, and then sometimes I just don't. Sometimes I let my like fucked up, patchy pirate beard move. Which now, when I grow my chin thing out, there's like this big tuft of white hair. It makes me
Awesome.
10 years older, but I'm hoping that it's eventually going to give me a more like sort of scholarly, sophisticated thing.
It's I would go more wizardy than scholar.
Wizard, I'm down for that.
It's really good. But
A wizard? No, he's the singer of this band.
All right. We have let's see a couple good questions here. Let's see. Still one favorite. Okay, Christian A. Padilla asks, Morningview is still one of my favorite albums. Do you guys still like to record in different spots versus a record studio? Or it's like,
Yeah. That's a really good question. We have done recordings since then, quite a few in what are traditional recording studios, but we very rarely, since the Morningview experience, we very rarely do an entire record in the recording studio. What we do now is we'll record some things in a recording studio, like drums, and then some of us will track things at home, because the technologies have really changed pretty considerably in the last 20 years. You can make a great sounding record just like in your living room. It's kind of amazing. I still personally am holding out hope of not trying to chase down the Morningview dream, but in the sort of spirit of having a place influence the writing and recording process. I would love to go and commandeer a chateau somewhere in like rural France and isolate, turn off our cell phones, isolate for a few months, and live in like preferably a haunted chateau.
Tap some barrels of wine.
Totally. We'll drink like mead, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When we go for a walk, it'll be in like the Victorian maze or something. And
You'll be speaking French because you'll have acquired your new superpower.
Right. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I think that'll be a lot.
All right, this is going to be our last question because I've already kept you longer than I said I would. The girl from Austin, how old were you in the house, and did you celebrate any birthdays there? It's also her birthday on Sunday, so happy birthday.
Happy early birthday. When we moved into that house, I was 24, and I think I celebrated my 25th birthday there, if I'm not mistaken. My birthday's in February, and I remember being there in the winter. So, if I'm not mistaken, if memory serves, then if that's the case, Mikey would have celebrated a birthday there too, and Jose.
Those must have been the parties. They were birthday parties.
I'm sure we had some birthday parties there, yeah. But yeah, we were all 24 and 25 when we lived in this house. We were there for a little over 5 months, I think. So yeah, do the math. I'm that much older now.
Too many numbers. All right, quick reminder for the chat. Tomorrow, live stream. There'll be some surprises. There's exclusive merch, Morningview album, front to back, incubus.veeps.com. Check out Moonlight Collective. Make sure to follow the whole band on socials. And Brandon, any final words for the stream?
I don't think so. Thank you all for hanging out with us today. And thank you, Jules, for being a great moderator. You've got a knack for this, man.
It's good. I hope you guys got a lot of this. Well,
right. It's the parent. Like, am I doing this right?
Like the dad
I miss
thing.
you, honey. Are you
the
there?
dog thing. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I saw Andy in the chat, who is a photographer in the band. I saw Joe Lilac in the chat, and all of you in the chat. We really appreciate it. We should do more of this. This is a lot of fun. I'm going to moderate the hell out of all of these chats. It's going to be good. And Sarah, I hear you over there. It's good to see you. I'm going to end this stream. Thanks so much. I hope you get some more coffee. Bye, little dude.
He says bye.
See you.